Hello and welcome to Think Good Thoughts. Today I'm talking about group coaching and the value of this process for nonprofit leaders. I'm really excited to launch a project with the Volunteer Center of the Lehigh Valley around this nonprofit coaching model. And my name for the project is Synergy Leadership Circles. I believe so strongly as a CEO of a nonprofit that this type of personal and professional development really matters to those of us who are working in this sector. Leading a nonprofit organization can oftentimes feel extremely lonely and overwhelming. Remember, we are on limited resources and we are continually asked to do more with less. And how do we do this without complaining and without always being in the I'm so tired mode? And as I've been researching what makes the most sense to actually share with nonprofit leaders and to utilize as a product for my nonprofit clients, I've started to look at the model of group coaching. I love it for myself because it's scalable, which means that I can serve more people in the world with some of my knowledge and some of my facilitation skills around these issues that nonprofit leaders face. I also love it because it really is entirely about the collective wisdom of a group. So what does that mean? Well, oftentimes in nonprofits, I feel that we're running as fast as we can, and we certainly don't want anybody to see that we're vulnerable. I know for myself, the first 6 months of my experience as an executive director at Habitat for Humanity of the Lehigh Valley, I looked like a deer in headlights. So much to learn, and certainly didn't want people to think that I didn't know what I was doing, which we commonly refer to as the imposter syndrome. And I wish I had had this opportunity to connect with other nonprofit leaders to talk about what it feels like to lead in this space. Remember, for those of us that are leading in the social sector, our bosses are our boards. And so the amount of feedback we get from them has a range. It's a continuum. And we have very little opportunities to safely be in a group with people to talk about some of the things that we're interested in. So I'm very excited to have a space where we can create a collective wisdom coalition and share each other's best practices. Some of the things we might be talking about during these sessions include things like how to gain clarity and insight on vision and mission, and how we create that alignment. I think one of the things I see my coaching clients struggle with is knowing what their core values are and figuring out how to bring their very best to the table with the organizations they are leading. So I think really having these conversations around clarity and looking at mission and looking at vision and thinking about operations can be extremely helpful in a safe space. I also think it's really important for those of us in our space to understand the difference between managing and leading. Oftentimes we come to nonprofit leadership with a great knowledge of something specific. So we might have been in the development role, or we might have great general expertise on financial leadership. And obviously organizations have life cycles. So we bring these skills to bear at the organizations we're serving at various times. But really, how do we take a mindset of managing and transform it into a mindset of leading? And how do we also embed that leadership mindset into our staff and with our board? So that's something we might explore. Something else that we probably will hit on is one of the biggest challenges for us as nonprofit leaders is dealing with those courageous conversations, those difficult feedback conversations. How do we really coach our team to be the most successful leaders that they can be? And so during our time together, we'll talk about what it feels like to delegate, what it feels like to coach, what it feels like to provide feedback, how to provide and manage up to your board members, how to really engage in those 30-second courageous conversations that will truly make a difference within organizations. So those are a couple of the things that we're going to be talking about. But what I really want to keep front of mind in this is that it's going to be about your agenda. Group coaching is about your agenda and really me serving as a facilitator to connect my knowledge with your needs and listening really, really well and intently to what you would like to talk about. So in this partnership with the Volunteer Center of the Lehigh Valley, we will start with a group of 10 nonprofit leaders, and I will reach out to everybody individually before we start. and really get a chance to talk about what's of interest to them. The next step will be doing some brainstorming about topics that matter to the group. And then finally, we will create a session schedule. So this is a model that I'll be using moving forward. This is simply a pilot for the Volunteer Center of Lehigh Valley. So I hope you'll stay posted and look for more information on Think Good Leadership about the remote video group coaching opportunities that will be available to you in the social sector in the very near future. And hope you have a great day, and remember, think good.